Before we start multiplying and squaring radical expressions, we're going to review adding and subtracting radical expressions. So on letter A, 12 square roots of 3 minus 3 square roots of 3 just gives us 9 square roots of 3. Letter B, 7 square roots of 2 plus 4 square roots of 2 is 11 square roots of 2. Letter C, 3 square roots of 2 plus 3 square roots of 2 plus the square root of 8. So I can go ahead and combine the first two and get 6 square roots of 2 plus, and the square root of 8 is 3 2's. Hopefully you know that by now. So we're going to pull out a pair of 2's. So that'll give us 6 square roots of 2 plus 2 square roots of 2, which is 8 square roots of 2. Letter D, 7 square roots of 5 minus 8 square roots of 5. So that gives us a negative square root of 5 plus 2 square roots of 20. I'm going to break down into 4 and 5. So 4 is 2 times 2, and then we have our 5. So I'm going to pull out a 2. So I'm going to multiply that by what's there. So it'll look like negative square root of 5 plus this 2 times that 2 I'm pulling out gives us 4 square roots of 5. So this is basically a negative 1 plus 4 gives us 3 square roots of 5. So that's just a review of what we've been doing. Now what we're going to do, instead of adding and subtracting, we're going to multiply. So the square root of 2 times the square root of 8. And you can put all this underneath one radical. So it's the same thing as 2 times 8, and 8 has 2 2's. So here's a pair of 2's I'm going to pull out, and there's a pair of 2's. So I'm going to pull out that 2, and I'm going to pull out that 2, and then we multiply them. So 2 times 2 is 4. Another way to look at this is 2 times 8 right here is 16, and the square root of 16 is the whole number 4. So just another way to look at that. 5 times 40, so 40 I'm going to break down into, let's do 40 into 8 and 5. So 8, well, I'm going to put the 5 here because you're going to see that there's a pair. And then 8 are 3 2's. So here's a pair of 5 and a pair of 2's. And so I pull a 5 out, pull a 2 out. I multiply those two together and get 10 square roots of 2. That's about 10. Number 3, the square root of 10 times the square root of 15. So I'm going to break 10 down into 2 and 5. And I'm going to break 15 down into 5 and 3. So here's my pair. So you have 5 square roots of 6. Number 4. Square root of 6 times the square root of 26. So 6 is going to be 3 times 2. And 26 will be 2 times 13. So there's my pair of 2's. So I have 2 square roots of 39. It's almost easier, I think, than adding and subtracting. Square root of 2 times the square root of 24. So here's my 2. And then 24, I'm going to use 8 and 3 because I know that 8 has 3 2's. And then you have your 3. So here's a pair, here's a pair. So 2 times 2 is 4 square roots of 3. 20 and 35. So 20, I'm going to use 4 and 5. So 4 is 2 times 2 and then times 5. And then 35, I'm going to use 5 and 7. So I have 5 times 7. So here's a pair of 2's and a pair of 5. So 2 times 5 is 10 square roots of 7. All right, let's look over on the back side. Now, what if there's already numbers on the outside? Write them down before bringing anything else out. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the 2 and the 6. And from there, so if you notice, that will be, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. 2 times 6, that's 12 square roots of 3 times, and then 20 is 4 times 5, so it's 2 times 2 times 5. So I'm going to pull out a 2, and then I'll multiply that by that 12. So that will give me 24 square roots of 15. All right, so let's take a look at number 7. So again, I pull out the 5 times the 3. So I have 5 times 3 is 15. Square roots of 10 will be 5 and 2. And then 8 are 3 2's. So here's a pair of 2's, there's a pair of 2's. So basically, I'm pulling out 2 2's. So that'll be 15 times 2 is 30. 30 times 2 is 60 square roots of 5. Number 8, I pull out my 3 and 2, so that'll give me 6. Square roots of 2 times the square root of 25, that's 5 times 5. So I pull out the 5 and multiply it by what's there. So it'll give me 30 square roots of 2. Number 9, 2 times 2 is 4. And then 3 times 3 from what's inside. And so that's a pair in itself. So I bring it out and multiply by 4, and that just gives me the whole number of 12. Number 10, 5 times 5 is 25. And then I have 3 times 3, so I pull out a 3. So 3 times 25 is the whole number, 75. So both 9 and 10 do not have a radical in it. All right, let's look at number 11. Squaring a radical expression. Multiply the number by itself and write it twice. So the square root of 4 squared means the square root of 4 times the square root of 4. So you can look at this a couple ways. You can put them all underneath one radical and then pull it out, and then the whole number is just 4. So that could be what you could do. You could also go 4 times 4 is 16. And the square root of 16 is the whole number 4. So on here, we're going to have the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So 3 times 3. Pull that out. So you've got the whole number 3. Here we have 3 square roots of 2. And another way, I've told you to do this before, is just go 3 square roots of 2 again. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then we have the square root of 2 and square root of 2, so there's a whole number 2. I'm going to pull out and multiply by 9, so 2 times 9 is 18. And then here, I've got 4 square roots of 5. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then we have our 5 times 5. Pull that out, multiply by 5. So 5 times 16 is 80. And there's some shortcuts that you might be able to see later on. But first, just beginning this, I would just rather you stick with the basics and just multiply those by itself. And then later on, when you get a little more comfortable with these, then you can possibly figure out some shortcuts on your own. See you later.